Friends, hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Laura. It's time for another What Sold This Week video where I tell you all of the stuff that I sold on all of my various online platforms this week. As always, I'm going to start off with my whatnot stuff because I just finished my show, and by just, I mean an hour ago. This is all the stuff that I sold. It was a pretty decent show today. I sold a total of 24 items for $405 before fees. After fees, which include some shipping. I actually had to pay for some shipping today. After fees and shipping, I earned $341.88. So not bad. It's decent. I've been accustomed to definitely over a $300 show. I was getting pretty comfortable with over $400 after fees, but I will happily take the over $300 because I've had some lower shows lately. Not terrible, but anyway, as I said, sold a total of 24 items going to 10 different buyers. 3 of those buyers are first-time buyers. So let's get into it. I'm going to try and do my normal like folding and bagging with you, but Rizzo is being a little bit sassafras. So currently she's laying down in the bag that I'm going to be dumping all of my packaged items into. If she stays down there, then I'm okay. But if she comes back here up on the table and wants to bite me while I'm folding long things, we're going to have problems. We'll see how it goes. So first up, Whatnot is changing their layout again. Don't they know that I have a YouTube video to record and I don't have time to deal with this crap? Okay, stop changing things, please. But I might like this better, actually. No. First up is an item that I sold to a new to me buyer. And it is this really adorable little sweater vest. I love this. Someone, possibly this buyer, said this had Betsy Johnson vibes, which I agree with. It's not Betsy Johnson. It is Chow's, but it's still really adorable. This little open side sweater vest. It's so cute. This sold for $15, which is what I started the bidding at. So that's fun. Like I said, it was a pretty nice show today. I was once again up until a ridiculous hour of the morning. It's just hard sometimes after I come home. It's just, I can't get myself going. It's like there's no gas in the tank. And so I have to keep trying to make myself get to listing. And I have not been able to get ahead of the game with the inventory loading. That's really what the ticket to this whole thing is going to be for me is, can I get enough inventory in advance to load my shows up in advance and not the night before? And then I will not be having as big of a problem. But thankfully, I have a lot of caffeinated beverages to help me through the rough days. So there's that. Let's see. So this is not going to get thrown in the bag that I set aside solely for the purpose of putting these in because Rizzo's in there, but that's okay. That means she's not biting me. So that was item number 1. All right, let's see. So package number 2. This is actually going to a buyer who purchased a whole bunch of stuff from me, and she purchased so many items that it actually got split into 2 packages, which is why I'm paying part of the shipping today. You know that I cap my shipping, so the buyer does not ever pay more than $9.21 in shipping. So for today, that means that I paid the additional $9.21 for this particular buyer, but she bought 10 things for me, so it's fine. So the first 2 items, and I'm going to package them the way that Whatnot has recommended because the last time I tried to mess around with this stuff, it worked out that way. So this is the first dress that she purchased. This is a really cute little handmade dress, but this appears to be Emilio Pucci knit fabric, which I thought was really interesting. So that's very cute. This sold for $15, which is what I started the bidding at. So that's good. This dress, when I found it, I got it home, and when I went to steam it, the armpit stench was ungodly. At some point, I did put it in the first show and just say like, "Hey, this stinks," but then I did treat that after the fact, so that's gone, thankfully. So she is spared from the armpit stench. The second item in this particular package for this buyer is this ridiculous little romper that I think is so cute. This is such a fun, like, lounge around the house, be comfortable and cute kind of little romper. And this also sold for $15. There's the tag because tags are fun. So also sold for $15, which I know I just said, but that's also what I started the bidding at, which you already knew as well because I should button some of these buttons. It looks very messy if I don't. The one day I remember to put a bag out for myself to throw these packages into, and then Rizzo decides to take up camp there. That's okay though. She was pretty tame during my show, which was nice. She made 2 on-camera appearances. Someone requested her, and she, fortunately for me, cooperated enough for me to let her say hello. Get this folded up. Okay. Let's see. So in the past, I've had times where Whatnot split up buyer packages for me. Whatnot has their smart bundling system, and it does a pretty good job. But of course, it's not perfect because it can't be, right? It can't really determine how big the package sizing is and everything. I estimate weights, but of course, because they have these weight like categories. So, 1 to 3 ounces, 4 to 7, 8 to 11, whatever. If I say 8 to 11 and it comes out to 7 or 8 ounces, you got a couple ounces left over, you have 10 items, and that can add another pound on. So these may all fit into an appropriate package size. I don't want to separate, oh, whatever. Okay. I don't know. But the last time I was able to get everything into one package for the buyer, and then I sent Whatnot an email asking if I could get a refund on the shipping fee, which they did refund me. Like, I didn't need the additional shipping, basically. They did refund me, but they also were like, I mean, we'll do it, but like just this one time, we don't normally do this, right? Which like I get, because it's probably a lot for them to maintain, whatever. I'm not really that worried about it. Most of the time, their smart bundling actually is pretty accurate for me, for clothing. So next up, a buyer who purchased 3 items from me. Repeat buyer. And let me see, expand this out. Oh, there we go. Okay, hold on. I see what's happening here. Sorry, I'm getting used to Whatnot's new little whatever they're doing here. All right, so first item is this really cute little nostalgia 90s rayon dress. And by nostalgia, I mean Nostalgia, the brand. This sold for, oh my gosh, I really do like this layout better. Never mind. I'm sorry I complained, Whatnot. I like this. This sold for $15, which that's what I started the bidding at. We all knew it. Okay. But it's so cute. I love these. I was not really aware of Nostalgia as a brand. But I mean, I'm sure I had seen it, and I'm sure that I've gotten pieces by them in the past, but I didn't really think much about it. But another seller that I follow on Instagram, Irreverent Finery, said that when she was younger, I don't know, teenager, like high school job, or if it was a little older than that, but she used to work in a store where they sold a lot of nostalgia stuff. And she was talking about how much she loved all those pieces. And then I was like, oh, huh. And then, of course, now I've been finding them ever since then, which I love. The second item that this buyer purchased was, where'd you go, little friend? There it is. This little 90s Express dress. So cute, little rayon, also a little baby doll style. And it's got this cute little like postcard print on it. This also sold for $15. So that's what I started the bidding at, which you knew. You knew that. So very cute. All right, let's see. This, by the way, this is Express dress here that I'm folding up, is a piece that I got not super long ago, but once I got it home, I realized that one of the seams was open. And so it's just been sort of sitting in a bag somewhere. And I finally repaired it yesterday so that it can go out to its new home. So yay, there's a couple pieces in here that I have had sitting around for a while and I did some work on. So I'll show you those as we go. And then the third item that this buyer purchased was this really fun jumpsuit that I just got yesterday. Yellow and black cotton jumpsuit. It's adorable. But what's even cuter is that it's this weird like animal print. But the animals, I talked about it in my haul video. So if you just saw that, I apologize. But the animals like are doing weird things. Like trying to find one. They printed them, whatever. The cut of the fabric doesn't allow you to really see some of the print stuff as easily as I would like. But There's like a giraffe that's got like a little doctor thing on his head, and he's looking into the mouth of a hippopotamus that has a toothache. And then there's another one. Oh, here she is. There's another one that's like DJing or something. I don't know. Why can't I find it? I found it for my Whatnot show to be able to show off because it was so cute. And now I can't find it. And this video is going to be 6 hours long because I'm looking for a giraffe who's doing dental work on a hippopotamus. There we go. It's cute though. Look at it. So he's got the little thing on his head, and he's wearing a little tie. And then the hippo has this little toothache, bandana on or something. It's so cute. Anyway, Rizzo's back on my table now, so now I've got problems. This jumpsuit sold for $24. I started the bidding at $20 because I paid $9 for this. So I had to start the bidding a little bit higher to make sure it was worthwhile, but it sold for $24, so that was nice. So we'll get this folded up. And what kind of bag? That's a little too, gotta put those in a medium-sized bag. All right, let's see. Yeah, now I don't have to click on the item and Whatnot to be able to tell you what the price was that it sold for. Before I had to like do all this extra work. All right, there we go. Throw that in the bag that Rizzo is no longer laying in. Okay, next up is a new to me buyer who purchased one item. Oh, this is so cool. Let me just make sure I got 21. Yeah. This is another piece that I just picked up yesterday. It's this very awesome blouse. It ties at the waist. It's so cool. I love the print. It's got all sorts of like little sequiny things and beaded stuff. There's that tag. It says Faith. It's really cool. And this sold for $19. I started it at $15. So I've got a couple of bids. So that was nice. It was a pretty decent show as far as activity. Somebody had come in and made pre-bids on, I want to say about 7 items before the show. And that's the person who purchased so many things. And then I can't remember if there were any more pre-bids during the show. If there were, it was only like one additional pre-bid item, I think. I didn't have a whole bunch of requests. I remember one time someone requesting to see an item that they did not bid on because they didn't think it would fit them. But it was still a really nice show. It was mostly just me going through stuff and, and then I ended a little, I don't want to say early. I guess it was a little bit early. It's like 12:15. I like to go to at least 12 noon because that's, lunchtime here on the East Coast. And it's like a decent waking up time for the West Coast people. It's like 9 a.m. West Coast time. So I feel like it's a good opportunity for like a second round of buyers. But around 12:15, I realized that it was down to 2 viewers. And when there's only 2, one of them is always going to be me, right? I'm one of the viewers. And then the second one was my friend who joins my show all the time. It's like, okay, I'm going to end it now. Bye. We did not do any raise because neither one of us was going to stay in. So, all right, let's see. Next up is that's not what I meant to do. Next up is a new to me buyer who purchased 2 items. The first item that they purchased was this cute little cotton blouse that I got recently. This is the one that I went and bought inventory from the seller a couple of hours away who was liquidating her stuff. So this blouse, I think I paid her $10 for this blouse. But then once I got it home, I realized that it's got some light discolorations on it. So I only started the bidding on this at $10. And that's what it sold for, which is, I'm fine with that. Obviously I'm fine with it. And I chose the price. So, I have several pieces from that seller that I photographed to just put directly into Etsy this week. So I think that that'll, the stuff that I list on Etsy will be where I make my money back from the purchase. And then the stuff that I'm selling on Whatnot is just fun stuff to fill in some Whatnot gaps, So that sold for $10. And then the second item that she purchased was this dress, which was really pretty. This is a nice 80s, really fun dress. This I started the bidding at $15 and it ended up selling for $22. So I was very happy about that. Yay. And now I got to fold it and Rizzo's laying in the way. So let's see what I can do here. I've got to button up the back. Yeah, so it was a pretty decent show. I felt energized enough. I didn't feel like I was, you know, talking to myself, even though obviously I'm always talking to myself, whether there's a camera running or not. No, it is. But yeah, I felt like it was a good energy kind of show. I think there was a little bit of chit chat in there. Can't remember what. We talked a little bit about stain treatment stuff. I want to do that today. I have I finally bought some more OxyClean. Oh my God, I'm trying to fold this and I don't have any space because Rizzo's there. Hi, Biz. All right, let's see. Sorry. Apparently I cannot fold and talk at the same time right now. It's not going to be the sexiest folding job I've ever done. It's going to be okay. All right. Sorry, I think this is a new to me buyer. It is. I'm sorry. This folding job is not my finest work. I apologize. But this dress is going to be a little cantankerous, I think. I don't know if we can fit it in this bag or not. Let's see. I mean, I can. Oh, I don't think that'll be too bad. Okay. Hold on. All right, that's a little squishy, but we'll straighten that out. So I was looking at, I shouldn't start telling you another story before I'm about to tell you about the next item I sold. So hold, please. Let's see. Next up is a repeat buyer who purchased 2 items from me. The first up is this pair of pants. These are men's pants. I got these from an estate sale. I think I got these from that estate sale that I went to, where it was like a pre-sale estate sale. Like she was trying to clear stuff out before having the estate sale because the house was so packed. I think that's where these came from. And these sold for $15, which is what I started it at. And I think that's fantastic. They're really fun. I'm going to fold them differently. Hold on. Hold on. Remember 8 seconds ago when I started telling you a story and then I said, no, wait, let me tell you this thing I sold first? I don't know what I was going to tell you. But now we're folding some men's pants. All right. I think I was just going to say that I got like OxyClean and now I can soak some stuff, but that seems like why would you care? Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, cool, Laura. All right, pants. Those sold for $15. And then the second item that this buyer purchased, number 18, was this little house coat. Very adorable. And this sold for $19. I started the bidding at $15. It sold for $19, so that was nice. These. Okay, let's see. Oh, I was saying I was looking for estate sales. I want to try and get ahead of the game on my, I'm sorry, Rizzo, but you are directly where I need to be, ma'am. If there's Rizzo hair on this, you get it. I'm sorry, but actually this is funny because this is going to the person who requested Rizzo's presence during, Rizzo, please, ma'am. She's biting me. Can you please stop? Come here, please. I know. Thank you. All right. I told you she was sassy today. So if you get some Rizzo fur on your garment, you are welcome. A little souvenir from me to you. Anyway, looking for estate sales because I want to try and get ahead of the game on this, whatnot stuff. But I just wasn't finding a whole lot that looks super promising. There is one that looks like maybe it could be decent, but it started today. So and it's I live pretty close to New York City. And so the areas around here, I feel like New York City dealers will come to certain areas of New Jersey are more accessible. This is not going to fit in here. It doesn't fit. Certain areas of New Jersey are a little bit more accessible than others to people from New York, and a lot of people from New York don't have vehicles, so it's all public transportation. So I feel like this estate sale, Rizzo, for serious, can you please? She's chewing the plastic of these packaging bags. You know, it's easier for some sellers to get to certain areas of New Jersey than others, even though they don't have public transportation. So this sale that I'm kind of interested in, I feel a little bit like this could be one of those sales where like city buyers would be able to easily get there, which means that high competition, whatever. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth me trying to go to this sale or not. Rizzo, you're seriously, she's like chasing this plastic right now, and I don't know where to put it so that she stays off of it. I'll bust you in the nose. I won't. Thank you. All right, what's this? We did that one. I'm all discombobulated. Okay, next up is a repeat buyer who purchased one item, and it's this little ringer tee. So this was just in my most recent haul, the Jersey's tag. I started this at $5 and it ended up selling for 10, so that's good. You know, it's one of those things I wasn't sure about because like I think it's cool as a vintage tee, but because it's gun related, I was like, I don't know. You know, I don't personally think that guns in and of themselves like are inherently bad. Now, Rizzo, can you not? She's really getting fresh right now. I would not feel comfortable owning one, but like whatever, like, you know, people have guns, that's their business. But it feels weird like selling a gun shirt to me because it's not my jam, but you know, anyway, it's a cool t-shirt and it sold for $10. So there we go. So next up is a repeat buyer who purchased one item. And why did I not even remember that? So, okay, here it is. This is another thing. Rizzo, hold. All right, I'm going to pause this because Rizzo's super contentious. All right, we made the swap. This is Skibbs, who you guys don't get to see very much. Hi, bud. Hi. Look how handsome you are. I'm like, why am I up here? I don't know what's happening. Okay, we'll put you down. He also probably just muffled my microphone, but right there you go, sir. So Rizzo is getting very murdery. And I know that I talk about Rizzo a lot on here, but, you know, we found Rizzo in like a parking lot somewhere. And my read on her is that she has like PTSD. I don't know what kind of environment she was living in before, but she definitely gets like very on edge if there's, you know, anything unpredictable, chaotic, loud, etc. So when I do these videos and she's hanging out here, a lot of times I think the movement back and forth and stuff freaks her out a little bit. And she sometimes gets like, whatever, she's jumping around, she's trying to eat the plastic bags, I'm moving her, she's biting on me. And there's a degree of her biting, which like, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But then I had to stop because her eyes got real shifty all of a sudden. And I was like, okay, I don't want to take a chance here. So anyway, back to the what sold. Meanwhile, Skibbs is already like out of here. I brought him over to say hello. He's like, what are you doing? And then he took off. So this is going to a repeat buyer for me. I think this shirt is so freaking cool. Look at this thing. First of all, there's the tag, Helen Sue, right? And all of this, such a neat like fabric. I love this new old stock, very groovy. So this sold for $15, which is what I listed it at. And obviously I'm fine with, but you know, it's just so interesting to me sometimes the things that like don't get bid up that I get super excited about, or even half the time it's like stuff that doesn't even sell, you know. I had pieces, I'm sure I had pieces in today's show that have been in like more than one show. And I'm like, why has this not sold yet? But anyway, this did sell. It's super awesome. And I'm very excited about it. All right, let's see. This here, okay, very nice. My little bag. All right, and I only have 2 packages left, so I'm gonna do the smaller one first. Let's see. This is going to a repeat buyer for me who purchased 4 items. Oh, it's a good thing I put Rizzo away because this is one of the items. So this dress has been in a ton of shows. It was in and out of shows for a long time, but it had a couple of things that needed to be repaired. And I finally repaired those. I don't know. I think this has been in 2 shows since I did the repair. I think this is the 3rd show. No, this is the 2nd show since it was repaired. So it was in a show last week. It didn't sell. This is another nostalgia dress. There's the tag for that. And so I had to like fix this thing here. And then also the buttons were kind of loose and wanting to come off, but I fixed those. This is a gorgeous slip dress. I can't remember what I paid for it. I think I paid a little bit more for it when I bought it because I had it priced at $25 and it actually ended up selling today for $31. So, you know, yay, obviously. But number one, I finally repaired something that had been sitting around waiting to be repaired forever. So yay. And then once again, it didn't sell for me last week, even with the repairs. And then today it got bid up. So yay, that was fun. And just buttoning all the buttons to be nice. This is such a pretty dress. Like, look at this. Just this like dark gothic flower print. It's so pretty. I love it. Okay, let's get this all folded up without our bitey little friend. All right, let's see. Sorry, I know this is not the exciting part of the video, but it is the part, I guess, where I can't talk and fold at the same time too well. So there. Okay, so there's that. The second item that this buyer purchased were these dual-fold thermal pants. We had a fun little conversation about this. How cute they are. You know, another one of the people in the show was saying that like she lives up in the area where the, you know, these were where the company is headquartered or the manufactured, whatever. I think these were manufactured in sort of the upstate New York area. I find them somewhat regularly. Duofold is a really nice brand. They're so comfortable and they're really cute. So is that those sold for $19. I started them at $15 and they sold for $19. So that was nice. I was a little surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised that they sold, but I was a little surprised that they got bid up. But yay, I love them. I think they're fun. Next, this buyer purchased this dress, which is an express dress. It's like a maxi sort of slip style dress, and it's got this vibrant colored fabric that has this chiffon overlay to it. And then there's the express tag, so that's fun. Very pretty. I couldn't deal with my hair today either. I had to finally just tie it in a stupid knot because it's, I don't know if it's because it's been so hot and I sweat all over it or what, but my hair felt like somebody dipped it in glue or so. It was feeling just nasty and it was bothering me. Uh-oh, I have a fan blowing and it won't let me fold this dress properly. All right, we're gonna just bully this dress into a little bit of submission. Sorry. Okay. All right, there's that. And then the fourth item that this buyer purchased was the Vanity Fair robe. So I didn't realize when I, you know, there's one particular person who I always think of when I buy these, and I don't assume that she's going to buy them because she collects them, so she's got so many at this point, but also like, I don't know, I would never buy something assuming that somebody, you know, whatever. I only pick stuff up if I know that I'm willing to resell it to anyone. Anyway, so this would have been huge on her, but it's sold to somebody else, so that was nice. And it sold for the starting bid of $15. I feel like this had a pre-bid on it, but I'm not 100% positive. So, oh my goodness. All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this all folded up. It does not want to cooperate. It's very messy. I think it'll like look fine once I'm all done, but it's going to be folded really pretty, but like a mess within. So, hold Hold on, it needs a little lint rolly guy. All right, you know what? We're gonna just put it off to the side. I'll deal with all that when we're done. You don't need to be party to all of that. Put you there. Put you there. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the final package that I need to wrap up. And this is the buyer who purchased, I think, a total of, I don't know, 9 or 10 items from me. So these are all her. Let's see. So number 1 is this adorable little orange house coat. And this sold for $10, which is what I started the bidding at. This is also another piece that I finally made some repairs on. I mean, it was so simple. The underarms here, they were like ripped. And once I modeled it, I figured it's like, oh, because the armholes are pretty small. So I feel like maybe somebody just ripped it to be like, I'm not doing this, you know. But anyway, I zipped those up last night with the sewing machine, just like doot, doot. And got it listed today, and it sold today. So yay, there's that. So this sold for 10, very cute. Okay, that's fine. And then the second item that she purchased was another house dress. This came from the woman upstate, the vintage woman that liquidated her inventory. This has some little bleachy spots on it. And I don't think I noticed those when I purchased this from her. I can't remember how much I bought this from her for. If it was like $10 or $15, but I listed it today for $15. That's what it sold for. So again, this item I didn't necessarily make money on, but also again, I feel like the items that I list to Etsy from her will be where I am able to like make back the money that I spent. So I think it's fine. This poor little thing. Okay, there's that. Next up, oh, this top is so freaking cool. I almost kept this, but I feel like I would sweat too much wearing it. But I really love this. This is a little Y2K top. And it's got just all these cool little goddess things on it. Here's the tag. And this, I started the bidding at 15 and it sold for 23. So that was nice. I was happy about that. Really cute. I love the print on this. Okay. And then next up, this buyer purchased this belt, which is pretty cool. It's just a leather belt, yellow with these like sort of stud detail things on it. So that was cute. I like it. This sold for 15, which is what I started the bidding at. Next up is, I guess I'll go here. This sheer sort of blazer, I'm calling it a blazer. I don't know what you call something like this, but this sheer sort of jackety thing, it's really cool. There's the tag. And this sold also for 15, which is also what I started the bidding at, which you knew. Okay. Let me see if I can fold this to look normal. This fan, it's helping me to not sweat so much, but it's blowing all my stuff all over when I'm trying to fold it. All right, let's see. Not the best folding job. Okay. And then next is this little Levi's velour shirt, also from my most recent haul. Very cute. And this sold for 15, which is what I started the bidding at. So that was nice. I'm going to button it up so that I can fold it. And let's see. I love velour. I don't know why. It's so fun. Okay, there's that. And then the final item in this package is this green velvet blazer, which is so pretty. The color's gorgeous. Look at these. Ooh, look at these buttons. I love those. They look like uranium glass. I mean, they're not. They're plastic. There's no tags on this whatsoever. Really well made, fully lined. The lining is like sewn to the garment throughout. Gorgeous. This, I started the bidding at this at $15 and it sold for 23. So that was nice. Nice. And I did an additional little bit of numbers for today, something that I haven't really been paying attention to, but I thought it might be fun if I start tracking it. So, as you know, because I talk about it every single fucking video, I like to put 30 new items in each of my Whatnot shows. And I think I'm going to start trying to track how many of my sold items were from within that first 30. So today, out of the 30 items, see, I wrote it down and I already forgot. Out of the 30 new items, 16 of them sold. So just over half. I'm going to start tracking that. I think I'm going to start tracking it in the little spreadsheet where I track all my other Whatnot numbers because I'm curious about it. And I don't know if I will be able to change my listing behavior based on it because, you know, right now I like, you know, if things don't sell today, then I carry them forward to next week, etc. But as you all know, I've been complaining about not having enough inventory to like not feel like things are stale, you know? So I don't really know if I'll be able to use this to change my patterns, but I think it'll definitely be interesting to look at and figure out if I can, you know, if I see that like, because then that means that today, 24 items sold, 8 of those were items that have been in other shows in the past, and 16 of them were pieces that were in a show for the first time today. And that's not necessarily typical. Like I know that last week, I think I didn't count for last week, but I felt like when I was transferring everything over, like I had like kind of a lot of the newer items were still in the show. So I'm going to start tracking it and see how that goes, and see if there's anything that I can do with that information, right? It'll be interesting if nothing else. Anyway, that's everything that I sold on Whatnot today. So you're going to hang around for a second and I will get to the other platforms, which will be, once again, a super short remainder of this video. But I'm going to go print some shipping labels. I'll see you in a second. Maybe if I can figure out where this end button is on this phone. I'm a mess today. Okay. Literally like 3 minutes after I stopped recording that video, I changed. So much more comfortable. Now I got to go ship. So once again, sales were depressingly slow on all of the other platforms. It was better than last week. Well, that's not true. I made one more sale than I did last week. The dollar amounts were drastically worse. But let's see what it was. At least it's something, right? Okay, let's see. Also, I feel like my display looks different today and I couldn't figure out what I did. So hopefully it's fine. Maybe that should be a little smaller. Smaller. Okay, so first up is this tea towel that I sold on Etsy. As you can see, I had it listed for $20. That does include shipping. I have had this tea towel since approximately the dawn of time. It's so long. So it sold, the buyer did not use any kind of coupon or anything. Shipping was $4.80, so I made $15.20 on this. And I am just glad that it sold. Yay. And it's cute, but yeah, I've had it for so long. All right, that's all I sold on Etsy in a whole week. So go me. Next up, eBay. This dress, cute. I had this dress up on Depop for like 197 years, and I finally cross-posted it at some point. Even that I did a long time ago. This is the label of Trixie. I had it listed for $39, and the buyer sent me an offer of $20, which, as you can probably do the math on, is about 50% off. But number one, on eBay, the buyer pays the fee. And number two, please get out of my house. So I've had it for so long. It's a cute dress, but I've had it a long time. So that sold for $20. I did not pay any shipping on that. So I made 20 bucks on that. Next on eBay, another oldie but goodie. You know, at least that's a theme that like most of the stuff leaving this week has been sitting around for a long time, because this skirt, look at this photo, number one. Okay. Number two, let's look at the price, $29.99. I haven't been doing the 99 cents things in at least a year and a half. So this never got cross-posted anywhere. These photos are absolutely hideous. The lighting in these photos is probably very much akin to the lighting that you're seeing as I record this video right now, because this was just done with natural light. You can see I was obviously still using a dress form. And yeah, I mean, the skirt itself was really cute. The photos were trash. But, you know, cute skirt. Anyway, I had it listed for $29.99. It sold for full price. I did not pay shipping, so I made $29.99 on that skirt that I've had forever. And thank you. I hope you enjoy your new home. And then the final item that I sold this week was on our dear friend Poshmark. No Depop sales. And it was a pair of panties. So I listed these. I just listed these. I think they sold like the next day. So I listed these at $39, and I did get an offer from someone on Poshmark. They sent me an offer for like $22. And then, you know, Poshmark takes like a 20% fee and everything. So number one, that was too low. I wasn't willing to go that low on that. But number two, the person sent me an offer, and then somehow they sent me a message in their bundle. So if you're not familiar with Poshmark, you can create what they call a bundle, which is kind of like your cart, sort of. And you can write messages in there that I believe are only viewable by the seller. I know there's a way to see bundle messages. I don't deal, whatever. I'm not on Poshmark. But as far as I'm aware, really, it's a message meant for the seller. And the message was like, would you be willing to try these on or model these or something like that, with like a little winky face? And I did not respond. I reported the comment, and then I blocked that user. After which I noticed that in the bundle, the username that was tagged, you know how like when you're responding to somebody online and like it like tags them, right? Like on Instagram or something. So it was like at vintage something or other, and my name on Poshmark is Vintage Pussycat. So I think that they mistagged a different seller because it wasn't my name. It was like, you know, whoever, vintage so-and-so, would you be willing to model these? And that poor person actually replied and wrote no, because of course. So I did like go to that person's Poshmark thing and like commented to them. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I don't think that was meant for you. I apologize, whatever. Anyway, but you know, I reported the comment. I blocked that user. And then a few minutes later, these panties sold. I was like, yay. And it was $30, which was an offer that was acceptable to me. So I accepted the offer. Oh, cool. When I went to print out the label, I noticed that the name that this was being shipped to, which was just like a first initial and then a last name, looked like the username that I had blocked the comment from. So I was just really aggravated. And, you know, I could have chosen to cancel the sale. I didn't. That kind of stuff bothers me so much. Like these are resale platforms. Do you know what I mean? It's not OnlyFans. It's not Tinder. Like I don't like that behavior. I don't care so much for myself. It's annoying to me. And then I find it disrespectful that it's disrespectful to do in the first place, but then to do it and then sort of like work around that and buy the item for me anyway. Like, you know, now this person like has my address and stuff, which I don't really feel like is a danger to me, but you never know. And it's just not cool. Right. But also there are people who do get very triggered by this stuff and we just don't need to deal with that. It's just trash behavior. You know, it's not appreciated. It's not cute. It's not flirtatious. It's gross, you know? But anyway, hopefully I at least made $24 off of this person, you know, after the 20% Poshmark fee. So that's it. Those are all the sales that I made for the week. So I do want to, I don't know, I keep saying this every week. I'm like, I'm going to work to make this week better. I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. I've been listing stuff and I'm hoping that at some point it'll kick up some sales. I did have 2 Depop sales go out today, but those aren't going to be until next week's video. But I was very impressed by that since it's been like a month since the last time I had a Depop sale. Anyway, that's it. That's all my sales for the week. So I hope that you found this informative, and I will see you again soon. Bye. Maybe bye, if I can figure out where my stop button is. Okay. Bye.